Please rise if you wish for the invocation and the pledge. Dear God, we are grateful for a successful Freedom Fest. Gathering as a community to celebrate is important to us all. We appreciate all of the contributions of our staff, our law enforcement and fire personnel, our vendors, and the Kids Zone sponsor, Grace Baptist. As we consider weighty matters involving taxes and fees this evening, we ask for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. We want to provide for our city's needs by being responsible with the money entrusted to us by our residents. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This is the special City Council meeting for the month of July. City Clerk, would you do the roll call, please?
Councilmember Sell.
Here.
Councilmember Papalardo.
Here.
Councilmember Stevenson.
Here.
Mayor Chazet.
Here.
Vice Mayor Butlin.
Here. Are there any deletions or amendments to the agenda? Hearing none, we move on to the consent agenda. Does anyone wish to pull something from the consent agenda?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items number 1 and 2.
Second.
Vice Mayor Butlin?
Yes.
Councilmember Sell?
Yes.
Councilmember Papalardo?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevenson?
Yes.
And I am a yes. We move on to new business. City Clerk, we didn't need to ask for public participation for consent, did we?
No, ma'am,
No,
we did not.
thank you. Moving on to agenda item number 3. The city manager is requesting City Council award the construction contract for the 430 Summerhaven Drive collapsed stormwater pipe replacement project, bid number 0725, to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, Black Sands Development Group, PLLC of Daytona Beach, Florida.
Good evening, Mayor Chazet, Vice Mayor Butlin, and City Council members. My name is Kevin Hare. My company is K Hare Construction Services. And yes, I'm here tonight to recommend award of the construction contract for the 430 Summerhaven Drive collapsed stormwater pipe replacement project, bid number 0725. The purpose of the 430 Summerhaven Drive collapsed pipe replacement project is to remove and replace underground stormwater pipes that have deteriorated from extensive corrosion after many years of service. Sections of these pipes have now collapsed. Failure of these pipes has resulted in ground subsidence at the surface and has required Public Works Department staff to backfill large depressions and maintain barricades and safety fencing at 2 sites. The scope of the bid number 0725 consists of 2 separate project sites, one at 430 Summerhaven Drive in the Summerhaven subdivision and at 408 North Pine Meadow Drive in the Glen Abbey subdivision. The 430 Summerhaven Drive project was initiated because of ground subsidence affecting a driveway was observed within a city's drainage easement on commercial property at 430 Summerhaven Drive. The Public Works Department observed the initial subsidence shortly after Hurricane Milton in October of 2024, and then further inspection of that pipe, the existing 24-inch diameter stormwater pipe, found that majority of that pipe is actually collapsed, and the old pipe needs to be removed and replaced. The 408 North Pine Meadow Drive project in the Glen Abbey subdivision is very similar in a sense to the 430 Summerhaven Drive project. The section of the Glen Abbey section of the Glen Abbey stormwater system had been planned to be restored by installing pipelining. However, it collapsed before we were able to get that thing done, and so that section of the pipe does need to be fully replaced. And ground subsidence has occurred at that location and has been backfilled and barricaded by the Public Works Department. And it was added to the scope of this project, bid number 0725 by addendum number 1 on June 10th of 2025. Bid number 0725 was advertised for bids in the Daytona Beach News Journal on June 4th, 2025. The announcement and the bid documents were posted on the city's website and also broadcast on the vendor link and Demand Star websites, requesting proposals from Florida contractors. The public advertisement notified potential bidders of a mandatory pre-bid conference that would be held here at 3 p.m. on June 16th. And at that time, 11 contractors were represented at the mandatory pre-bid meeting. As advertised on June 30th, 2025 at 3 p.m., the City of DeBary conducted a public bid opening for bid number 0725. We received 4 sealed bids here at City Hall. All bids were unsealed, read aloud, and with a representative of the bidders present, as well as staff members were also present here. The results of the bids are Black Sands Development Group, PLCC, was the low bidder at $172,716.73. Second bidder was GPS Civil Construction at $223,150. Allstate Civil Construction was the third bidder at $365,981, and Gregory Construction was the fourth bidder at $382,500. Staff had estimated the construction costs for bid 0725 at $188,300. My company, I personally conducted the mandatory pre-bid meeting and the public bid opening. And all staff was also represented here, and they tabulated the bids and confirmed the mathematic accuracy of the bids and responsiveness to the instructions to bidders. Black Sands Development Group did submit all the required bid documents and a bid bond. Black Sands Development Group is a Florida licensed general contractor, certified general contractor, and a certified underground utility contractor that has been an active business entity since 2017, and has performed similar projects for the Volusia County Utilities Department and also the City of Palm Coast and other entities in this Central Florida area. Black Sands Development Group, PLC, has not previously done any work or performed any construction projects for the City of DeBary. The Volusia County Utilities Department staff was contacted regarding their experience with Black Sands Development Group, and we did receive a very favorable reference, and cooperation has been very good for the county. They've worked with them a number of times, and they felt real good about it, so we included that as part of the vetting process. My company, K. Hare Construction Services at LLC, task order number 07-2501 is attached for City Council approval. The purpose of the task order is to establish a budget for construction management and inspection services for the bid number 0725. Proposed budget amount of work order 0725-01 is not to exceed $16,240. Funding for the project would be from the fiscal year 2025 Stormwater Fund. With that, recommendation to City Council is to award the construction contract for 430 Summerhaven Drive collapsed stormwater pipe replacement project to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, Black Sands Development Group, PLCC, for the low bid amount of $172,716.73, with a contingency budget of 7% or $12,090 for a total budget amount of $184,806.73. It is further recommended City Council approve K. Hare Construction Services LLC work order number 0725-01 in the amount of $16,240 for construction management and inspection services for the 430 Summerhaven Drive collapsed stormwater pipe project. Regarding implementation, the project would be expected to start sometime in August, so they would start fairly soon. And the completion date is set at October 10th, so they've committed to completing the project by October the 10th. With that, I would be glad to entertain or address any questions the council may have.
Thank you, City Clerk. Do we have any public participation?
No, ma'am, we do not.
Councilmember Sell, questions or comments?
How exciting, a project that came in just a little under what the estimate was. That's all. Thanks.
Councilmember Papalardo?
Nothing else.
Councilmember Stevenson?
I had this question answered earlier by the city manager during our discussion, but just for anybody who's listening, why are we working on this stormwater even though there's a nearby HOA and maybe not other projects?
Well, these two projects here, Glen Abbey's a little split up. We are the owner and maintenance entity of these two particular areas, Summer Haven, and then this particular area within Glen Abbey. So if folks are concerned that money's being spent on those, these are our responsibility, and we are the owner and maintenance entity of these particular two pipes.
Thank you for that clarification. No other questions.
Vice Mayor Butlin?
It always amazes me when we get these bids in, the lowest to the highest is more than doubled. And it just amazes me that the same scope of service. I have no other comments on this.
Nothing to add. I would entertain a motion if there's no further discussion.
I'll make a motion to award the contract for construction of the 430 Summer Haven Collapsed Stormwater Pipe Replacement Project to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, Black Sands Development Group, PLLC, for the low bid amount of $172,716.73, with a contingency budget of 7%, or $12,090 to be included for the total budgeted amount of $184,806.73, and also including the approval of K. Hare Construction Services, LLC, work order 072501 in the amount of $16,240 for the construction management and inspection services of the 430 Summer Haven Drive Collapsed Stormwater Pipe Replacement Project.
Second?
Councilmember Stevenson?
Yes.
Councilmember Sell?
Yes.
Councilmember Papalardo?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Butlin?
Yes.
And I am a yes. So we are on agenda item number 4. The staff is requesting City Council adopt Resolution number 2025-18 to accept title to properties within city limits that would be acquired through the Volusia County Office of Recovery and Resilience. City Attorney, would you read resolution number 2025-18?
Thank you, Mayor. A resolution of the City Council of the City of DeBary, Florida, authorizing the city manager to enter into agreements with Volusia County for the acceptance of properties acquired through the Housing and Urban Development, HUD, Community Disaster Block Grant Disaster Recovery, CBDG-DR, funded single-family homeowner repair and replacement program and homeowner recovery program buyout pathway, providing for severability and providing for an effective date.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We have been working diligently with Volusia County. Volusia County, through HUD, had acquired a grant from HUD of $133 million for Hurricane Milton. They've allocated $100 million towards infrastructure throughout the county and $20 million towards a buyout program. This resolution serves as a qualifier for the city and its residents. The buyout program, as you can see there, the public document from the county, is, by passing this resolution, makes all of our property owners in DeBary eligible for the buyout program. The buyout program and this resolution is necessary because the way HUD, similar to FEMA many years ago, is that when the property is purchased and bought out, then the property is transferred to the city if you so choose. And you can make a decision on a case-by-case basis. And when you make the decision to approve, we are responsible for the maintenance in perpetuity of that property. And so if a homeowner in DeBary, if we pass this resident and a homeowner in DeBary qualifies for a buyout program, it will come back to the city to see if we want to accept the property and maintain it in perpetuity. Once you acquire that property, you can't build any structures. It has to be maintained either in conservation or you could use it for stormwater enhancement only. And so that's what this resolution does. It says that we're willing to accept property upon approval, and on a case-by-case basis. Again, passing this resolution enables all DeBarians to apply for the buyout program.
Thank you. City Clerk, do we have any public participation?
No, ma'am, we do not.
Councilmember Sell, questions or comments?
No comments.
Councilmember Papalardo?
No comments.
Councilmember Stevenson?
I think this is great. That the big thing for me was that we were able to choose and have the final
Right.
say. And any resident who has been affected by flooding, it'd be better for them to apply for this type of program rather than keep having to deal with it again and again. So I'm in support.
Vice Mayor Butlin?
Thank you, Mayor. How much money's out there on this 365?
$20 million for this program.
$100 million for infrastructure improvements, $20 million for the buyout program.
Buyout. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, I have no further questions about it. I think that it is, I would second Councilmember Stevenson's comments. I think it's good that we have the framework set up so that any resident that has had chronic flooding and chooses to move and sell their property to the county through the program and is accepted, and then we would review it and accept it. We need this framework in place. You can't begin to strike this agreement after one of your residents raises their hands. It has to be in place before they open the portal for DeBary residents, so I'm strongly in support. If there's no further discussion, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2025-18 to accept title to properties within the city limits acquired through the Volusia County Office of Recovery and Resiliency.
Second.
Vice Mayor Butlin?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevenson?
Yes.
Councilmember Papalardo?
Yes.
Councilmember Sell?
Yes.
And I am a yes. Agenda item number 5. I'm going to preface this with, there are a number of agenda items that follow, and they have to do with taxation and fees for the coming year. The city manager's choice is to do one comprehensive presentation. So when I read agenda item number 5, I will have the city attorney read that resolution. We will get the entire presentation, invite public comment, have our council feedback only on the resolution that's been read, which is the ad valorem millage rate. And then after that vote on the ad valorem millage rate, we will not have separate presentations for each of the remaining ones, but we will consider them. I'll ask the city attorney to read the resolution. Then if there's any additional comments, fine, but we expect we will have our comment period, any public participation, and vote on that one, and that's how we will proceed. But the city manager felt it was a unified proposal of what it is we're looking at, how do we fund the city's needs this year, is the best way to present the material. So agenda item number 5, the city manager is requesting the city council adopt resolution number 2025-08 to set the proposed ad valorem millage rate of 3.6500 for fiscal year 2025-2026, and to set the date, time, and place of the tentative budget hearing on the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget for September 3, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. in the council chambers at City Hall. Council may set a proposed millage rate higher or lower than the city manager's recommendation. City Attorney, would you read the resolution, please?
Yes, ma'am. A resolution of the City of DeBary, Volusia County, Florida, adopting a proposed millage rate for the levy of ad valorem taxes for fiscal year 2025 to 2026 on all taxable property located within the City of DeBary, Florida, setting a tentative budget hearing date, time, and place, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you, Mayor. Just for the record, if the city council adopts the proposed millage rate of 3.65, it is a 10.82% increase over rollback, and rollback is at 3.2935, and for the record. Okay. Thank you. And you've seen a little bit of this during the preview in the first meeting of July. The process is the proposed budget was delivered on July the 11th, and by the charter had to be delivered by July 15th. Tonight is the proposed millage rate, and once set, you cannot go higher than what you set tonight for the rest of the budget season, and that's on today. We are tentatively scheduling our council meeting and budget workshop on August the 20th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. And as stated in the resolution, tentative millage and budget is September 3rd at 2025. My typo there, at 6:30 p.m. And the final millage and budget is September 17th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. So always we start off with our history. As you know, when we became a city, we started at 2.83 mils. As you can see our history there, the little fluctuations that you see in our millage rate were business decisions that we made on specific projects and capital needs, particularly in 2019-20, when most of us came on board at that particular time. We did the project of Woodbound and Valencia, which at that time we were about 15 years behind on those particular projects. And then we reduced it back down to 2.9247 mils. Then last year, obviously, with the increased doubling of our fire services and building of our fire station, we went to 3.4, and it's part of a growing community and maturing as a city. And then again, this year, we have certain capital needs, and we'll go over those here shortly, and expected legal services that we're going to need, and be proposing to the council to set at 3.65 mils, and then work through the budget process over the next 60 days or so. So as we talked about the personnel, last time, the allocation of the full year salary increases that we did on March 2025 has an influence on this year's budget. We are proposing a 3% salary increase and to keep pace. And during this next 60 days, we would like to provide and gather in data from our municipal competitors. Obviously, it is a competitive marketplace, and we want to make sure that since we only have 47, 48 employees, that turnover is a bigger issue for us than it is for other organizations. We also, this budget also has some generating operating expenses, the increase of goods and services. We see that a lot with construction, and we also see a lot with some of the supplies that are needed for our organization. Included in this budget is some IT replacement. Our computers are 5 or 6 years old, and then also our sign on 1792. The parts there are we're purchasing parts that are probably what they rehabilitated, 30-day life on them, and they don't make them anymore. And our sign is about 10 or 11 years old. So the technology is and we can talk a little bit more. I have Eric here as well to talk a little bit more about that. And you can certainly answer your questions regarding that. They come in panels, and they don't make the panels anymore in that particular sign. So getting into further details of the budget, obviously focusing on the city manager budget, and the personnel costs, and certainly that it's certainly noticeable that the salaries for the city manager's budget goes from $676,000 to $903,000, and that's a $227,000 increase of 33%. There's some factors to that. Obviously, there are 7 positions right now in our budget, which is the city manager, the city clerk, the HR director, and 4 communication department folks that make up the city manager's budget. In March, you granted us a senior director, but we changed the name to assistant manager because of nobody was applying for the city senior director position. Same job description, we just changed the name, and lo and behold, everybody applies. And the same organizational structure. and that particular salary is $144,000. That's entry level to that particular range that was approved. And then with that, obviously the increases, the salary benefit increases. And so you can see that just by those two increases in benefits and the increase in the assistant city manager makes well up of the 200,000 or so that are involved there. So if folks are thinking that the city manager is making $903,000, that's not what it says there. It includes 8 positions with all salaries and benefits, and that's typically most of the additions there. So also, we had an increase in law enforcement. The sheriff contract increased $350,000, or 8.1%. We are maintaining the same level of service. We have a little bit of facility maintenance that we need to do. That building has not been painted or sealed since its original construction many years ago. And then we're adding a few LPR cameras around the city to shore up our security and continue our deterrence on crime. The fire services, we're now going to be operating 2 full stations, and then we'll be opening in September 2025. That is progressing very nicely. Right now, Orange City is going through labor negotiations, and it's in process with the union. And we anticipate when the next 60 days come about that we will have up to $300,000 increase in those from those negotiations. And also in the fire services budget is a high water vehicle maintenance. We did acquire for loaner from the Department of Forestry. Just like we did with the tender truck. You know, you saw the tender truck out there. That's actually owned by the Department of Forestry. They give it to municipalities. The only difference is you have to paint it to get rid of the Department of Forestry color. And so that's our vehicle there on the top, and it would look much like what you see on the bottom down there. We had a few instances where we had this opportunity to get this high water vehicle going 4 or 5 feet of water. We had a few instances where it was so deep in some areas that we needed a higher water vehicle. We didn't have them. Particularly over there at DeBerry Plantation, we only have a tank over there that holds 4 days worth of fuel. And when the power is out, and it covers the electrical components of the box, you can't bring power. And so we had no means, we were concerned, we had no means to refuel that there because we couldn't get a diesel truck back there in order to refuel the tank. This will have that capability. We did raise one of our pickup trucks to also deal with high water issues. And we also raised the electrical box components up higher than what the flood over there occurred. So we've taken some steps to make sure that we have the availability to go where we need to go and be able to fuel where we need to fuel. There are some equipment requests not included. We'll talk a little bit further about a little bit later about the future fire engine, and the brush truck maintenance are not included in this particular budget. Also included in this budget is legal services. We have budgeted $400,000. There are some pending litigation regarding the DeBerry Plantation Community Association or our DeBerry Golf and Country Club, if folks are not worried, don't understand who that is. Volusia County Schools, we are going to mediation at the end of this month. But again, we fully expect that Volusia County will have to go file an injunction to prevent Volusia County from building on that property. We do have the foreclosure in process, so that's the Bank of America building. Also, in engineering, you'll see a line item there for contract services for $50,000. We do have issues with Volusia County Schools and the McDonald's project, where we will have to may hire a traffic engineer to defend the city on those particular issues. And so that's why you see that particular the contract line item there. Also, we're now with the passing of the mobility plan in the city, now House Bill 479, we will get with Volusia County and to negotiate, and that's we're drafting agreements now. But that will bleed into next fiscal year because we have to have an agreement done here shortly. And then the mobility agreements, each developer in the mobility area, there are mobility credits that they earn by upgrading roads, putting in trails, et cetera, et cetera. There's agreements for each one of those on what is reimbursable, and you'll start seeing one from, I think, Town Park here within the next 60 days. Also, one of our great projects that we got coming on, and of course, the last couple of years, we've had a lot of projects that we've been implementing. Our focus has been to get the infrastructure in place before much of the growth that comes in. But one of our startup costs here is Alexander Island, which we all been waiting for the last 3 or 4 years. Hopefully we'll get the guaranteed maximum price contract next month. With that, they guarantee construction starting within the next 30 to 60 days. And then hopefully with eight or 9 months with the construction, July 2026, we'll be able to have a celebration there to get Alexander Island open. But with that, obviously, we're fully maxed out in Parks and Rec regarding staff. And so keeping with the demand that we're going to have for Alexander Island, we need 2 full-time employees. We believe that we can hire them in March, train them up, and then they'll be available for July. We anticipate having them staffed on the weekends as well, because that's where our busiest time is going to be. Also, ECHO, as we put up $1.8 million match, we got a $2.5 million ECHO grant. It pays for all the construction except for a maintenance garage. We're working on trying to change that policy with ECHO, but until then, we have to pay for our own garage, and we have to pay for our own equipment. That it does not cover those particular things. Also with Parks and Rec, we made a commitment with the pickleball courts. We got approved in March of 2025 for our pickleball project, which is obviously building pickleball courts at Keller. And then obviously our Keller storage is not movable. It's actually needs to be replaced. And so we'll be moving Bill Keller storage in conjunction with the pickleball award there. So that award is with ECHO is 50% of that particular cost. And then the Gateway Fire Monitoring System needs to be replaced. It's barely it's functioning, but it needs to be improved, given that it is a facility of assembly. I call it a facility of assembly where people gather in that. Public Works, we have made a conscious effort to do our road resurfacing at $800,000. That's basically what we have in there this year. As you know, a couple of years we suspended that to build the Fort Florida Road upgrade. With the price increases for a road increase, we used our gas tax and our to help pay for that Fort Florida Road increase. And so now we're getting back to catching up on our road resurfacing. But the necessary equipment there, we have gone as far as we possibly can with our pickup trucks, our skid steer. Actually just came out of the shop again. And our 2 mowers, all of them are double-digit years old. And then our trailer there at where we house our office there down at the Public Works building is in disrepair. I mean, it's beyond repair. It's almost 20 years old. We bought it used back in 2015, right now, it's just not big enough for the entire staff down there. They literally doesn't have a space to get into the air conditioning, the staff and everything else, they do everything in the warehouse. But we need a modular building there to upgrade our standard there and maintain for our employees there, and for our supervisors. And so it's an important project, but it needs to be done. We got to do something with that trailer, and it's either spend $50,000 or $80,000 to try to get it to where it can stand up and air condition and everything else, or we rather put that money towards getting something that will last us for the next 15 or 20 years. We do have a lot of capital projects in our previous budgets. The ARPA fund is nearing completion. Matter of fact, all the funds have been encumbered. It's just getting those particular projects fully expended. That will be down to zero. The Fort Florida road upgrade is now complete. And then you see in this budget, that's now zero. The fire station is nearing completion, and that ultimately will end up being zero. And then the Fort Florida Bridge, which is the gateway, where the gates are with FP&L. The engineering is complete, and I say nearing complete because that's been sent over to FP&L for approval. We got our Army Corps of Engineer permits and everything else. We are now drafting the RFP, just so everybody understands that the construction under contract with FP&L and everybody else is during the off-season. They demanded that obviously construction occurs on the off-season, so that they can still use their gates during the hurricane season. So it's anticipated construction will be November 2025 with completing by June 2026. And unfortunately, it is going to require full road closure. So, but again, I'm proud of the staff. We had an extraordinary list of capital projects, and one by one, we're crossing them off the list. And so it's really a tribute to them. So just in a little bit of summary, our business reasoning, obviously, Alexander Island startup costs, the increase in public safety costs, the legal costs due to pending lawsuits, and the long overdue equipment needs, really for safety and service. Our employees are taking this equipment and using it along major highways and mowing the medians and everything else. So we need that equipment to be operating at top notch. And for service, the better these equipment performs, the better our staff can perform. My recommendation to council with this particular budget here is current rate is 3.4 mils, recommending proposed rate of 3.65. Obviously, one of the talking points that we discussed during the preview was the fire truck. And so I have a little information so far with the fire truck. Obviously, option one may not be our best option. If you wanted to buy now, the price is $894,000, and that's with the discount. We have to come up with $894,000 in cash. Don't recommend taking it out of reserves, but the proposed rate may have to go to 4.2 mils. And if you go to that rate, to generate $894,000, it would require a unanimous vote by the council. Option two seems to be the best option. We can save now and buy next year. So as you know, every March we get an audit report. It locates the monies that have not been spent in last year's budget. And certainly we can do a multiple budget year saving. We can add that, so when we get the audit in March or April, if there's any dollars that are available that have not been spent from this year's budget, we can put it towards the capital, towards the fire truck. And then next year's budget, we can put in the balance and purchase the truck next year without having to raise our millage rate anymore this particular year. We could stay at 3.65. And typically, we have done this method for our capital projects like Benson Junction. We saved some one year and then saved a little bit more in the budget the following year. So you carrying this cost over multiple budget years, it reduces the cash flow strain, and it prevents the borrowing of money. Option 3, obviously, is a lease purchase, which I usually don't recommend. If you wanted to buy it now, I mean, so you certainly can finance it at 5.62%. That's what they're offering. But I don't recommend on doing that.
I don't think we can take a 10-year period.
You're correct.
Yeah.
That's what they're offering there. So yes,
Yeah.
I'm just showing their offer there.
Okay.
So you're absolutely correct.
Yep.
And so I did receive a fourth option just before I came here. But again, it requires a $200,000 down payment, pay 50% at the 12th month, and then another 50% upon delivery. But again, it's going to require a $200,000 cash payment with this budget. So,
Is that 200,000 and then 50% of the remainder?
yeah.
And then 50% of the remainder?
Yep, and then
Okay.
50% so for example, the price I received is if we buy, if we do that particular proposal is $944,000 for the vehicle. $200,000 down, then at 12 months is $372,000, and at delivery it's $372,000. And now, construction is, for the building of the truck is 18 to 24 months. And so that will be option number 4, but I got that from Chief Long just 10 or 15 minutes before the council meeting tonight. So that's something that we could consider. And if you went, if we needed to generate 200,000, I mean, we can, the millage rate would need to go to 3.75 in order to cover that. So Mayor and Council, again, these are the rates going from 3.4 to 3.75. As you can see there in red, the 3.65 recommendation, buying the fire truck next year using our savings, there will be a 10.82% increase. And I can show you that, and I'll keep this up. I'll bring it back up when you discuss this particular portion of the ad valorem. Getting into the non-ad valorms, the solid waste ad valorem, we're proposing $295, a 15.7% increase. As you know, the council approved a 7-year renewal in June. The new rate for the residents with no commercial is $16.98. It's approximately $14.10 this year. Plus the dumping fees and recycling costs that we pay direct to the county and also to Waste Pro. We negotiated a rate that's significantly less than the market rate, and I use Orange County as an example. They did 6 zones, and the rates with no commercial were, as we talked about in our presentation with the Waste Pro contract, was $22.97 to $27 a month per resident. And so you can see there that I think we negotiated a pretty good rate. And next year it goes to $19.95. And so it does go up, but from there on it's CPI. But it's still a lot less than going out for bid. Their 6 zones are actually with 4 different waste vendors. And they awarded the contract by zone. And so very complicated. And another factor regarding that is Volusia County is increasing their dumping fees again by another 5%. And so giving everything that went on, this contract renewal and this dumping fees, the fee right now is at $255, and our proposal is to take it to $295. It's a really good transition, giving all the factors of increased dumping fees and renewing this particular contract. We believe that we've done a really good job on maintaining as much as we possibly can this proposal of $295 per resident. The stormwater fee, we expect the stormwater fee to remain the same. And just for information regarding stormwater, because I hear it all the time, that I pay $160 stormwater, then you should be taking care of my private stormwater system. Unfortunately, the $160 fees or the $80 fee if you're on the private street, of the budget, 30% goes to personnel, 40% goes to debt service, and then out of this particular money, because this is the debt service that has been pulled out. Some of this debt service goes back to 2015, where they borrowed $10 million to get started with the emergency pumping system, and so we got another 3 years on the debt service. It expires in 2028, and then we'll be debt free. And certainly
But review what we have that interest rate at?
1.33 on one of them and 2.63 on the other one. So
And the 2.63 is gone first. 2.33 has gone, it's gone by the time I end my mayorship, it's
Yes.
paid off.
yes,
So we only have the 1 point,
1.33
Yeah.
on the other. And so it's an extraordinary effort by all of our financial strategies to not only get our debt down, but increase our reserve. We're a much better shape than we were in 2019. We had high debt with high interest, and we had very low reserve, less than 5 million in our reserves. But we're now approaching 11 million, and we're still waiting on Hurricane Ian and Hurricane Milton reimbursements. And so a tribute to all of you on the financial strategy for our organization, that we're able to increase reserves, lower our debt, and put the city in much greater financial condition. So just talking about our capital projects, as you know, we took our ARPA money and we engineered everything. We made all of our remaining projects shovel-ready. And it's proven to be a great strategy. So what we did here, I just show you of where some of our strategies going forward are included. We did apply for a HUD grant with on the West High Banks project. That goes from the railroad tracks all the way to St. Johns River. And it's a significant amount of infrastructure. It's $8.6 million project. And with HUD, it's unique, but HUD requires the county to do the procurement, and it requires the county to do the construction. And we used our engineering as our match that we've already paid for. So it is a great program, and certainly we hope that we'll get that approved. It has, be honest with you, it has regional benefits as well. And I think hopefully the county get behind it and help us get this accomplished. We did get it in the budget, the legislative budget of $1.5 million, but unfortunately it was vetoed by the governor. His approach is to forward you to FDEP. So that's where we're heading. So the next two larger projects, obviously, is Keller Park. There's two projects there of upgrading that pumping system there, and also meeting the 2008 requirement that was never done of irrigating Bill Keller Park out of Lake Charles. And so we're trying to meet that requirement as well. And so then, obviously, the vistas, which are lower income sections in DeBary, qualifies nicely with the county HUD grant program. And so we are planning to head with more projects to the HUD. Remember, they have the $100 million. And the 4 projects there that you see in the Vista area. And then with the remaining 30%, we have about $500,000. We'll apply to the other projects that are shovel ready, and we'll see how far we can stretch that money. But that's our strategy in stormwater, by keeping our stormwater rates the same and going to seek grant monies. I think we can make a real good dent into some of our remaining projects there. So our another non-ad valorem assessments, obviously the street lighting, there's no change there, and no rate change this year regarding street lighting. And then with the Olandia Heights, the fee assessments, that's not changing either. Their fee assessment is $300 per house, per parcel. And so, Mayor and Council, I'll be glad to take any questions. Obviously, you've read the resolution on the ad valorem. I guess we'll start discussions on the ad valorem piece.
We're going to do the ad valorem and have a vote, and then we'll move on to the others.
Yes.
City Clerk, do we have any public participation on the ad valorem resolution?
No, ma'am, we do not.
Councilmember Sell.
I got a couple of questions. Carmen, the high water truck, you said it needs to be painted. Is that out of our hands, the painting part, or like, is it cheaper to wrap it than paint it, or is that out of our hands?
No, we just need to remove the color off that. That's one of their requirements. I mean, it sounds petty in my opinion. You want to change the color, but that's a requirement for getting a free vehicle.
Is that ours?
It's ours to use until we give it back. Just like the tender truck that you see over here, it's called Tender 33. It's for forest fires and everything else. It's got a four-wheel drive that it will go anywhere, any place, anytime. That is a Department of Forestry vehicle. And we have repainted that just like that in the past. And so Department of Forestry surpluses a lot of equipment for the federal government, and they have a location, I believe, in Lake City. And when those opportunities come, you can grab them. And this one is in great condition, and I think it will serve the city and Orange City for many years. Tribute to Chief Long, who saw it, got it, and because he was looking for other vehicles for their city as well, and said, hey, do you want a high water vehicle? And I go, yes, absolutely, because of all the issues we had. And it's here, it's at the Public Works barn, and if we want it and to keep it, we can return it at any time. But it needs to be either wrapped or painted. I don't know if that type of vehicle could be wrapped. I don't know that answer at this particular moment in time.
Would it have our city logo on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Option 2 with the fire truck, the 500K puts us in line, correct?
Yeah, we can keep the millage rate the same at 3.65, in my opinion, and then we can use that audit, the excess money that comes out of the audit, and then we can assign it to a capital project, which will be the fire truck. And then next year's budget, we'll allocate the remaining balance toward the fire truck and order it. It is 1 year later, but I think given the immediate decision that we have to make, I think that's the best decision to make. We can keep the current vehicle, we can repair it for the next, unfortunately, 2 years or 2 years and a half. We can keep it running and operating until we can get this vehicle. So at least that's my opinion without having to affect the current millage rate. You know, with if you want to generate $894,000 without pulling out of reserves, then you're going to have to go to 4.2 mils to generate $894,000.
And then this will have the 3% for employees currently?
Yes.
That's all.
And we'll get the data from all our competitors there, and we'll see what transpires. To go from 3 to 2% is $45,000. So every percent difference is $45,000. So give or take a few cents, but that's the general.
That's it. That's all I got.
Councilmember Papalardo.
I provided a couple of slides. I provided a couple slides. Could I have those pulled up, please?
Yep.
All right, so.
Our
put together-
favorite part of the presentation.
So this is not the technical analysis like I do sometimes that I'll get into when we start talking about actually setting the millage, not just, this is more budget concept. So next slide, please. So I want to look at a revenue summary looking at some variances first. It was that top line. This is from the revenue category. It's like the first exhibit in the budget. Taxes is presenting to be up about, what's the math? They're $1.32 million. So what is that coming from? I wanted to know. 98% of that is the ad valorem increase. The split on that, roughly 55-45 on the change of millage versus the property and new property value, or new parcels being improved to homes, things like that. So that's what we're kind of representing in that 10%, 9.8% increase year over year. Intergovernmental was down pretty significantly, so I was like, what happened there? That's mostly grants. $2.5 million ECHO grant was granted on the current year's fiscal year budget. It does not get represented in the following because it's accounted for, so that's why that appears to be down. Carry forward, just something I noticed that it's down because we're spending some money. And then I just wanted to talk about this one thought is when I thought about this on the way here, so I threw together a really quick spreadsheet. And short version is, what's our increase of sheriff services and fire services since 2024, going into the 26 budget? It's $1.4 million, it's a 20% increase, very big. One of the things that we hear a lot, get critiqued a lot about is, oh, shouldn't growth pay for that? That's the whole point, right? And so I backed out the ad valorem taxes. If we were to have the current property values at 2024's millage of 2.9247, we would have only increased ad valorem tax income by 1.16 million versus the 1.4 expenses in just emergency services alone. And that goes to show how severely how municipalities have been affected by inflation. Labor inflation, material, equipment inflation, very, very challenging. So that's the revenue story that I wanted to put into perspective. And that's kind of why the millage has been painfully increased. Now, part of that is expanding the fire services from 1 station to 2, including the matching headcount, because we had been roughly 40% underserved since 2011, I think was my math last time we talked about that. So it's kind of, unfortunately, catching up to the reality of what it takes to run a city at the appropriate service levels, not shorting emergency services to the community. Next slide, please. Pass-through expenses. This is a little concept I want to put together. I'm calling a pass-through expense referring to expenses that are non-negotiable or otherwise services that are not a function of policy decision. So things like charter officers and staff, the city clerk, the city manager, council, records, emergency services, constitutional requirements, and restricted funds. So if we back out the pass-through revenues alone, things like permits, because those have to stay in the building department. Stormwater fee, because I think that's pretty one-to-one there. Street light districts, that's just pooling money to pay for street lighting. There's no gain or policy decision there. Grants, because those are free money and they're assigned to a project. Gas tax, because that's almost restricted. It's more of an earmark that you have to spend it on something that has to do with transportation or resurfacing. And then fees for services, which are other permit type items that are not building department permits. So about $5.4 million, a quarter of the revenue of that roughly $22 million on the top line is assigned for, can't touch, has somewhere to go by constitutional mechanism, basically. So these are the $15 million. So then the pass-through expense concept. Law enforcement, kind of non-negotiable in my opinion. Fire service also generally non-negotiable. Charter, constitutional, and baseline staff. I actually went through employee by employee and identified staff that are like you absolutely cannot run, whether it's a constitutional charter or just a function of proper management. So like a department head plus the main hourly staff that would make up doing public works, doing stormwater, doing things like that. And that's 4.1 out of, I think my math was, it's in the budget. I think it's like $5.4 million is the total payroll. That's payroll, FICA, workers' comp, and retirement and insurance share of premium. So it's about 73% of our staff is like, you are not allowed to reduce that staff, basically. Legal contract, you can't not defend the city. That's actually in the charter as well. Insurance, generally non-negotiable, and audit is constitutional. So 13.75 million is what I'm considering a pass-through expense, meaning we only have about 8.3% of our $22 million to make discretionary and policy decisions on that are not generally tied up. what I wanted to put into perspective here is that I don't think there's a more efficient neighboring entity. This is what tightening your belt looks like, and I think we've been running like this for a very long time. And that's why it's so painful to see millage go up. But it's kind of the unfortunate reality of the economic environment, labor environment, materials environment that we are living in right now. And that goes back to those revenue concepts of how sheriff and fire have outpaced property value increase, because it's just that expensive to provide emergency services alone. So that was bright and cheery. Anyway, a couple of thoughts. Wages, I'm happy the 3%'s in there. We've hem and hawed in the past, and we have done an off-cycle increase. Then that was my fault, and I wanted to crank it down in the next merit. I don't want to do that this time. I feel like we continually catch up and then fall behind, and that's not the right way to run a business. This is not so much budget. We do have the budget for it out of the BTR reserves, because we haven't spent any money out of that. We have some healthy value there. I'd like to see that facade grant. That's a management thing. It doesn't need to show up as a line item in the budget. Fire truck, I like option number 2. Option number 4 is interesting. Is that basically no interest, it sounds like?
That'd be no interest, but the discount is less. It was only $50,000 discount instead of a $101,000 discount.
Okay.
So the vehicle with that particular proposal that I got was $944,000 versus $893 if we just bought it outright and got a 10% discount.
So, but we won't have a contract, so could we see a price increase before the time that we enact?
That locks it
That's
in.
locked?
That locks it in.
Okay,
Yeah.
understood, thank you.
Now, just so you understand, and the mayor has been, there is an investigation going on.
That was my next point.
With maybe some
My
price.
memory was correct. I looked it up today because he hadn't looked it up.
With some price fixes.
senatorial investigation
Well,
headed
and
by Warren and someone else.
The Firefighters National Union is bringing this to the forefront,
Right,
that there's consolidation in the industry. There's only 3 manufacturers. The venture capitalists got in, aggregated the small manufacturers, so the allegation is, end up with 3. Delivery times went double. Prices went double. I mean, there's more detail in the actual release, but prices soared, delivery times got longer, and they claim that there is no evidence that having achieved this, that there is any movement to increase capacity,
Right.
which are sort of earmarks of something has gone wrong with this economic model. And so that's a concern,
absolutely.
yeah.
Let's keep our fingers crossed on that one.
Yeah.
That'll move nice and quickly, I'm sure. Last fleeting thoughts. One thing I wanted to mention was thinking about land bank as part of millage general fund, which I'm not trying to push for this year. It's something I would like to put on people's radar for next year. Should we be able to keep millage flat or perhaps even decrease millage slightly, it would be nice ahead of the referenda for November 26 to kick off that fund with a restricted fund creation based on some small millage. Doesn't have to be the 0.2, it could be even a 0.5. Get it started. Should the referenda fail, we can, by ordinance, undo that restriction, put it back into general fund. This is something I just want on the radars, because what I'm fearful about is, in one of the things that, looking at budget, is reserves being able to be used for property preservation for the myriad of reasons that we've spoken about before. Time, value of money is our enemy if we don't have a fund to be able to purchase a property that may come into availability that either the residents or the board would be interested in acquiring. Not a discussion for now. Want to put that on our board. So I think the 3.65 is appropriate, as painful as it may be, as well as option number 2 for the fire truck.
Thank you. Councilmember Stevenson.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I would also agree with option number 2 as far as the fire truck. I couldn't imagine us going up to 4.2 mils. the 3.65 that you're asking for is already a little bit of a uncomfortable stretch. I thought that we were going to be able to wait off on that for a little bit because of the development and letting that pay for some of these things. I also appreciate your analysis there. The discretionary amount that you have, $1.25 million, basically is the millage increase that we're doing. And that if we did the rollback rate or kept the same rate of 3.4, we would just have to cut all these things, all these little bonus items.
A quarter of staff. Remember that in that analysis, that only represented 73% of the entire staff. So that $1.25 million roughly would wipe out a quarter of the staff. If we kept flat millage is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, I see. This modular, I'm looking at these things, like the modular building, $200,000 towards that $1 million to keep the rate down. Where are you planning to put this exactly? Because currently we have a trailer that moves around where the Public Works.
No, it's permanent.
Okay.
Permanent on the
And
facility.
And that's part of the problem. It's permanent, it's been there, and it's deplorable.
It's at River City Park or it's at Gateway?
No, it's at the
Works.
Public Works, which is adjacent to River City Park, but it's a completely different facility.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
it's right next to the storage warehouse there.
If you're on Barwick where it makes the hard right, you would go into that facility at that corner.
I think I have seen that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, trucks, hopefully we can get a good piggyback deal and possibly come in a little bit lower on that.
Well, those are state contract prices.
That is the state contract price already. The sign out front, how much do residents really read that?
Well,
If it goes out, are they really going to miss it?
it's up to you there. I mean, Eric can probably explain a little bit more regarding the, I think there's a microphone on your table there, Eric. I mean, we do make our announcements there. We try to, communicate with the public as much as possible, so.
Okay. I want her to get her answer before we allow you additional comments. Councilmember Sell.
Eric Frankton, your IT Director, Record Manager. We don't have statistics on stats on how many people read it, but we do get calls all the time when it's like, hey, it's after the 4th of July and it says you're closed. And one of the issues we have with that sign is that we have to actually manually go out and reboot the sign because it cuts service off all the time. So, and we've had people complain like, hey, we didn't get that boil water alert or something along that, even though it wasn't our water that they have to be boiling. But people do comment on it all the time. And every year when the Toys for Tots come in, we got to put this on the sign, we got to put this on the sign. So we do get a lot of feedback on it. And I'm sure even our communications department, who puts all the stuff on there currently, all the notices, they get a lot of feedback too, especially when it comes to the Gateway Center of the Arts and some of the other programs that go on throughout the city.
And is it just the electronics inside that's going to be replaced and the monument itself stays, or is the whole thing need to be rebuilt from scratch?
The physical structure itself is staying the same. Okay. We're trying to get the cost for the framing inside and all the electronics and parts. A few years ago, when I was trying to put this in the budget, we were trying to replace just the panels. But since then, those panels are no longer available. So now we have to actually replace the framing on it too. It's getting very hard to put stuff in it. And as Carmen was saying earlier, our warranty is 30 days on something. We just spent a little over $1,000 a few months ago on 2 pieces of the panels that go inside of make the image. And they're out of warranty, so if anything happens, they're done. A new sign has about a 5-year warranty on average. So
That answers that question. Before I move on to a different item in the budget,
Okay. Councilmember Sell, did you have a comment on the item she was mentioning?
No, I would love to see that sign somewhere else, but I guess it has to be sort of kind of in that area there.
Well, the infrastructure's there. If you want to relocate it, you might as well just build a whole new sign and do the all new electrical and everything else. But it doesn't mean that, you can do a second one somewhere down the road. Obviously, one of our projects that we have on the forefront is obviously the entrance in the gateway, entrance into our city. We have a lot of signs in our strategies there, but obviously money we would need the money to get those things up and running.
And tonight, we're really setting the ceiling,
Yes,
so we still have time to argue with each other.
yes, you do.
Multiple times.
All right, thanks.
All right, Councilmember Stevenson, moving on to your next comment.
The license plate readers, it says enhancement. Does that mean that they are upgraded units and we have the same ones, or we're getting additional units?
Additional units that we put in the budget. You have to pay every year for the maintenance on them, and then we're adding 3 more in strategic locations that we've been working with the sheriff on. So.
All right, I think that covers my questions for this
Okay.
evening. I'm sure we'll have more discussions.
Vice Mayor Butland.
Thank you, Mayor. I still have to go back to this fire truck thing because it bothers a lot out of me. I don't have a problem with option 2. I'm liking option 4. And the only reason why, right now, we don't have a functioning truck in DeBarry. When I talked to the chief yesterday, he's at a conference, so he couldn't be here tonight, but when I talked to him, I believe we have no service right now. Probably we're using, I believe, 67 from Orange City. I'm just hoping that Orange City doesn't come around one day and start charging us for using their truck, because that would be expensive. I'm concerned that we don't have a working vehicle. I don't know what the time frame of getting 33 fixed is, but it's getting more expensive and it's taking longer to get it done, according to what I talked to Chief about last week. I like option 4, just laying out the 200. I don't have a problem like we've done in the past and increase the rate to a certain point to do something specific. Now, I'm not saying go to the 4.2, that's a lot. But I'm looking at the 3.7 or 3.75 cap, so we have time to discuss this without looking to cut something else. That we have to set tonight, and that's what the item is for. I need to do more research and more talking about what's our priority. The fire went up, and yet we're concerned about doubling the fire when they went up higher, but we're only doubling our fire. And a lot of this goes back to the insurance rating as well. So if you know about insurance at all, those ratings will change according to response time and all that other stuff. So I'm a little concerned that we're putting the fire truck on the back burner. I've been talking about this every year. So I'd like to find out if there's a way we can get something in there to get it ordered and ready to go, because I don't trust legislation to change the cost of a fire truck. That's not something that's going to happen next year or this year. So I'm looking at that. Thank you very much for the negotiating with Waste Pro. I think that's a very good deal. I think we did a really good job on that, and thank you, Waste Pro.
We're doing ad valorem right now.
I know, but I'm going through my list here.
Oh, okay, because we're going to do the comments in the next agenda
We'll
items.
talk about solid waste when we get
We're going to get to
We'll do all
that.
of those
Okay,
when we
so
get to
that's
those.
my concern with the item for right now.
Yep.
I'd like to go a little bit higher on setting the cap, and then rework these numbers and see what we can come up with.
Well, just for your information there, if you decide to think option 4, going from 3.65 to 3.75 is approximately $160,000 difference. And so if you wanted to go to option 4, it's recommended that we set the cap at 3.75, which I believe would require unanimous vote, or a majority,
4.2
4 to
would.
1.
Yeah,
4 to
be
1
4
vote.
to 1.
And so at 3.75, but that generates the approximately $160,000 difference.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm not going to have a whole lot of additive things. On the license plate reader enhancement, I think that that is something we need to continue to do. It shows up in our crime statistics. When I'm here every quarter and we review what's gone on in DeBary, we have incredibly high solve rates. Why is that? Cameras somewhere record you coming in and out of this city. And if you go back to the time when something happened, very frequently that gives them the lead. Because usually, aside from domestic violence or something that's truly a homegrown kind of thing in many instances, usually these are people from outside our city coming here to do something wrong. And so it shows up in our solve rate, which is very, very high. And I remember being in this council chambers when we first decided about the first one. And there were some then elected council members who doubted that this actually worked or it was actually valuable. And I think that all of our experience has proved that they're very valuable for us. And they help us maintain a sense of security in our community that some others don't have. Either they're larger, you don't have as good a handle on everybody coming and going as we do. But I'm strongly in support of that. I think we do take the high water vehicle repainting or wrapping. I don't have a strong opinion. Whatever's cheapest, since we could give it back at some point. I had a question about the contract services, which the city manager included in this presentation, that under legal services, that contract was to help us with some of the traffic things that we are insisting on with various projects. And, you know, that is our last line of defense, is making sure that things that we know are going to happen to our traffic situation, getting them agreed in the development order. We can't go back and say, you remember we said that if you had a fast food restaurant, everybody coming in would clog stuff up and back it in because there's too high a volume. There's nothing you can do at that point, and then it falls on our existing residents. So it pains me to spend money on it, but we have to do it, I think, because recouping or modifying the situation after we've allowed them to build, or we fold our cards because they resist, is way, way, way too expensive. As far as the 200,000 building, yeah, I wish we didn't have to pay for it either, but I think we have done what we have done with economical and used situations for long enough. We have people that work out in the heat all day long, and that their core facility when they return has no air conditioning. Doesn't work for me. So as much as I don't like the total, and I don't like the millage increase, I think that the 3.65 makes sense to me, and option 2 on the fire truck makes sense to me. The only way I think I could be convinced on option 4 is if we took the 200,000 needed immediately from reserves and kept the millage at 3.65. We have that much fudge factor in our reserves, I'm confident. We have, yes, we're waiting on Ian and Milton receipts from FEMA, but with Ian, we're years into the process, and as it often seems that they're never, never, never going to show up, eventually they will. 200,000 is not a major dent in what we have in unassigned reserves. If we truly believed that option 4 was the better option for the city, but I do not support our tentative millage going to 3.75. So those are my thoughts on the ad valorem millage part of the discussion. Is there any further discussion? Councilmember Sell.
Just to throw it out there, I like your option 4 idea. Option 1, this time next year, we would all be rolling back or going back, possibly, hypothetically, to 3.65 from 4.2. Just throwing that out there, we would look like heroes next year, but zeros this year. It's
Well,
just an option. Just
yeah.
throwing that out there. What the optics would look like. Al this year would hammer us, and then next year we'd be angels. So, and we would have paid for the fire engine and fire truck up front and done. You've eaten the frog early in the morning instead of late in the afternoon. It's just a thought. Otherwise, I like your option 4 idea a whole lot.
I don't think I can stomach that, but Councilmember Papalardo.
Yeah, I was too long-winded, and that's why I didn't mention your option 4 idea, but I'm on board with that. And a lot of that is because if you remember this time last year, we opted against 3.5 mils because we thought we could save $300,000 in a one-time purchase, and then we spent that many times over. So I'm a little bit nervous about that consideration, but there is a lot of capital outlay that should be once for many number of
Right.
years.
And this
versus-
is,
yeah.
this is not for recurring things.
Absolutely.
This is not to cover the janitorial services on City Hall, which should never come out of reserves.
Agreed.
This is a one-off again, a one-off capital equipment kind of thing.
And one step further is when I think about the outlay there, within roughly 1 year's worth, it's the 200 plus 380 was the math, and then 380 again roughly.
Yes.
Well, if we're going to try to put $500,000 away anyway, it's not a total additional, well, okay, it's almost.
Well, if we
200
did
greater,
this-
but the
if we-
timing of which.
If we did 200,000 out of
Right.
reserves and locked it up,
Yeah.
and then we have the spring reconciliation, and we took 378 or 5 or whatever it is instead of 500.
Yeah.
And then we budget the other 378, 5, whatever it is, the next year, I can live with that, but I can't, personally, I'm not on board with putting the millage up to do it.
I'm on board.
200,000 from general unassigned reserves, I'm okay with it. Otherwise, option 2 is where I stand. Any additional discussions?
I would agree with your proposal for option 4 out of the reserves to keep the rate. I also would not want to go up higher than the 3.65.
Okay. So if there's no further discussion, I would entertain a motion. Somebody suck it up.
I'm looking for the language. I'll move to approve resolution number 2025-08, adopting a proposed millage rate. Oh, that's not the right language, is it?
Item
Adopting
number
a
5.
proposed millage rate of 3.65 mils for the
Fiscal year.
fiscal year 2025-2026.
And set the date, time, and place.
You have to read it off of the
Force-
agenda.
I miss, oh, there's the right language.
Yeah.
My bad, I
Yes.
didn't have it
It's
highlighted.
never right. It's-
All right.
You want to start again?
Yeah, I do. Thank you. I move to adopt resolution number 2025-08 to set the proposed ad valorem millage rate of 3.65 for fiscal year 2025-2026, and to set the date, time, and place of the tentative budget hearing on the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget for September 3rd, 2025 at 6:30 PM in the council chambers at City Hall.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Councilmember Papalardo.
Yes.
Councilmember Sell.
Yes.
Councilmember Stevenson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Butlin.
Yes.
And I am a yes. Okay, now we will have the city attorney moving on to agenda item number 6. The city attorney will read resolution number 2025-09. The city manager is requesting that this resolution set the solid waste non-ad valorem assessment for fiscal year 2025 to 2026 at $295 per residential unit per year.
Thank you, Mayor. A resolution of the City of DeBary, Volusia County, Florida, adopting a non-ad valorem assessment role for the solid waste collection and disposal, specifying the unit of measurement for the assessment, specifying the amount of the assessment, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. City Clerk, do we have any public participation?
No, ma'am, we do not.
Councilmember Sell, thoughts on Resolution 2025-09, solid waste?
No questions.
Councilmember Papalardo?
No questions.
Councilmember Stevenson?
No, we just recently did this contract. No questions.
And Vice Mayor Butlin?
I just want to reiterate my thanks to Carmen for negotiating this. It's ended up being a really good deal. Thank you.
Right. And I would echo the Vice Mayor. I think that we did a good job on this contract. We have covered the increased costs of the contract, which are modest compared to some other jurisdictions. We, in this rate, absorb the higher dump fees that are imposed on us with no negotiation, because that's a service the county provides. So I have no issue with it as shown. And if there's no further discussion, we could have a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 2025-09 to set the solid waste non-ad valorem assessment for fiscal year 2025-2026 at $295 per residential unit.
Second.
Vice Mayor Butlin?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevenson?
Yes.
Councilmember Papalardo?
Yes.
Councilmember Sell?
Yes.
And I am a yes. Moving on to agenda item number 7, the city manager is requesting the City Council adopt resolution number 2025-10 to set the stormwater non-ad valorem assessment for fiscal year 2025 to 2026. City Attorney, would you read resolution number 2025-10?
A resolution of the City of DeBary, Volusia County, Florida, adopting a non-ad valorem assessment rule for the stormwater utility services, facilities, and programs, specifying the unit of measurement for the assessment, specifying the amount of the assessment, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. City Clerk, do we have any public participation?
No, ma'am, we do not.
Councilmember Sell, anything to add?
Nothing to add.
Councilmember Papalardo?
I have one comment.
Okay.
I'll say it again. I would really like to see analysis, case study, however you want to phrase it, seeking to make this a flat rate. I think it's very confusing. Hold on, I had notes. Where to go? So I don't think it's appropriate to have this differentiation. I don't think, number one, it's confusing. We've seen lawsuits spin off of this. I don't think it's the right way to classify the affected property. It has to do with operation and maintenance entities more than anything, and that's where a lot of hang-ups happen. And I'm very appreciative of the detail we get every time displaying how it's staff, how it's debt service, and those other items. But just to reiterate, I don't think that public versus private street classification is the appropriate differentiation for this particular assessment. That's all.
Thank you. Councilmember Stevenson?
It looked like maybe the city manager had a comment on that.
Well, I think, again, the assessment was made, the differential assessment was made way back in 2007 and 2008 when it particularly started. Most of it obviously goes to the emergency management system, which serves 95% of all public streets.
And just one really brief concept of that is, because that is generally the entire city, so I just don't, the street differentiation doesn't really work. That's my hang up there.
I know, I understand.
Okay.
I guess to follow,
Councilmember Stevenson?
to follow up on that, what's the percentage of residents that are public versus private? If the majority of the emergency systems covers 90 whatever percent.
I do have a map, and I think I recall the majority of the people are in private stormwater systems in DeBary, and private streets. You got well, most of them are on private stormwater systems. Now, whether on public streets, like Rivington's a public street, but it's a private stormwater system. And so, yeah, I mean, do we want to go back and revisit? We're going to have to do some studies. We're going to have to incorporate a study on how other cities do it, but generally this is the general format that most of the cities do.
And I think the thought is that if we're charging them less as a city, hopefully these HOAs that are privately responsible are going to be saving their fair share amount.
I hate to interrupt your comment.
There's
That's
a
the
wide
opposite.
variety.
It's the opposite of
It's
what's
the
happening.
opposite. So public
Yes.
rates on a private stormwater are paying public higher rate despite having private O&M
Right.
facilities.
Well, and you got people that pay the $160 rate to have no stormwater infrastructure. And so there's a whole slew of things all over the scale where you got folks that don't have stormwater systems that have been paying $160 for decades. So,
Can we just get like a number of what a flat rate would be for next time, just out of curiosity?
straight right across the board.
Yeah, just to.
Including every undeveloped lot?
Sure.
Okay.
I'd be interested in seeing that number.
Okay.
Also, and to follow up on this with the debt service, once we finish paying that off, then that revenue could go more into infrastructure?
You'll be able to spend more for projects,
Or we can drop the millage.
or you can drop the rate,
Okay,
or both.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Vice Mayor Butland.
Thank you, Mayor. I agree with Councilmember Papalardo that the double fee gets confusing when you talk to residents. And, well, I pay stormwater, why do I have to deal, why are they no fixing my roads? Why aren't you fixing, a lot of these are private stormwater systems that they have to do, and is it the private stormwater systems or the private road that these rates difference?
See, no, it's private roads, but
That's
you
what
have
I'm
to,
saying.
but you have to remember that
difference.
the majority of the money goes to the emergency management system, and that's really critical, because that's where 95% of the money goes, is to the emergency management system. And so that serves 95% of the people on public streets. And so that has been proven over and over and over again, that you have three major emergency management systems here, and they're all serve folks on public streets.
I can't wait for the day that we have no more projects left, and we just,
Can we lay off staff?
no, I think they'll
Oh.
be busy. No,
Well,
but
it pays for stormwater staff.
Well, I don't foresee us not having a fee. I mean, you certainly have to have
no,
personnel. and you certainly
absolutely.
have to have
Maintenance is going to
maintenance
be
and stuff like
huge
that.
in a couple years.
Right.
It's going to be maintenance, so that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. I'm not against Councilmember Papalardo's and Councilmember Stevenson's request to see what a model of a level fee would be. I will note that I'm in the 5% of the city that gets basically no value from any of the three. And we have had stormwater management excessive costs on our street, which does not have an HOA. So it's a matter of being friendly and cooperative and planning and researching and implementing with many opinions and nobody forced to pitch in. And so personally, I have spent tens of thousands on stormwater management on my street, and I don't benefit from any of it. But we can't make the system to cover all bases with everyone. So I'm not against looking at it, but I do think there was a logical basis for the system as it exists. So I do agree this is a discussion for another year. But Councilmember Sell.
Can we talk about, my wife and I don't have kids and we still pay in for Volusia County schools?
No.
I think that would be a discussion for another decade.
You know, life is extremely unfair.
All right, I don't have any further comments. We're proposing keeping the collections level. I still remain very proud that we came in. We managed the debt associated from this. We knocked off projects. We reduced the fee and made a big difference, I think, in this function of the city since the people here have been in office, and I'm proud of that. And I know that you are too. I know that doesn't undercut those achievements. And I am extremely pleased that at the end of 26, when I leave this chair and the vice mayor leaves that chair and Councilmember Stevenson leaves that chair, all of us having termed out in these particular chairs, the city will have in total debt service less than $1 million. My quick addition was, it was like 965, 970, somewhere around there.
That's big.
And that's only a year and a half away. So if there's no further discussion, I would entertain a motion on resolution number 2025-10.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 2025-10 to set the stormwater non-ad valorem assessment, NAVA, for fiscal year 2025-2026.
Second.
Vice Mayor Butland?
Yes.
Councilmember Papalardo?
Yes.
Councilmember Sell?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevenson?
Yes.
And I am a yes. So we're moving on to agenda item number 8. The city manager is requesting the city council adopt resolution number 2025-11 to set the street lighting district's non-ad valorem assessments for fiscal year 2025 to 2026. City Attorney, would you read resolution number 2025-11?
Yes. A resolution of the City of DeBary, Volusia County, Florida, adopting a special service district service charge assessment role for street lighting districts for fiscal year 2025 to 26 and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. City Clerk, do we have any public participation?
No, ma'am, we do not.
Councilmember Sell, any comments?
No questions.
Councilmember Papalardo?
No comments.
Councilmember Stevenson?
No questions.
Vice Mayor Butland?
Nothing at this time.
And I have nothing to add as well, so I would entertain a motion for resolution number 2025-11.
I'll make a motion for,
You need your turn on.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 2025-11 to set the street lighting district's non-ad valorem assessments for fiscal year 2025-2026.
Second?
Councilmember Stevenson?
Yes.
Councilmember Sell?
Yes.
Councilmember Papalardo?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Butland?
Yes.
And I am a yes. Moving on to agenda item number 9. The city manager is requesting city council adopt resolution number 2025-12 to set the Orlandia Heights Neighborhood Improvement District non-ad valorem assessment for fiscal year 2025 to 2026 at $300 per parcel, unchanged. I added that. City Attorney, would you read resolution number 2025-12?
Yes, a resolution of the City of DeBary, Volusia County, Florida, adopting a non-ad valorem assessment role for the Orlandia Heights Special Neighborhood Improvement District, specifying the unit of measurement for the assessment and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. City Clerk, do we have any public participation?
No, ma'am, we do not.
Councilmember Sell, questions or comments?
No questions.
Councilmember Papalardo?
No questions.
Councilmember Stevenson?
No questions.
Vice Mayor Butland?
Nothing at this time.
And I have nothing as well, noting that the Neighborhood Improvement District did meet earlier this month and settle on this amount, which is level with previous year. If there's no further discussion, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 2025-12 to set the Orlandia Heights Neighborhood Improvement District non-ad valorem assessment for fiscal year 2025-2026 at $300 per parcel, unchanged.
Second.
Vice Mayor Butland?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevenson?
Yes.
Councilmember Papalardo?
Yes.
Councilmember Sell?
Yes.
And I am a yes. So that concludes our agenda items, except for we do have a board committee appointment. Orlandia Heights Neighborhood Improvement District Board of Directors has a new application for our review. I hope you've looked at that in your packet. City Manager, did you want to say anything about that?
Sean Harvey is the applicant. They recommended. He's been with the city been in the city for 27 years, retired, and certainly has the ability to serve on that particular board.
Okay. City Clerk, I take it we have no public participation on the appointment?
We do not.
Okay. Councilmember Sell?
No question.
Councilmember Papalardo?
No questions.
Councilmember Stevenson?
No questions.
Vice Mayor Butland?
Nothing at this time.
I have nothing as well. I would entertain a motion to accept the appointment of, you will have to fill in the name. I don't have it on my sheet.
Steve Harvey.
I'll make a motion to accept the appointment of Sean Harvey for the Orlandia Heights Neighborhood Improvement District Board of Directors.
Second?
Councilmember Stevenson?
Yes.
Councilmember Sell?
Yes.
Councilmember Papalardo?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Butland?
Yes.
And I am a yes. So we're moving on to reports and communications. Councilmember Sell, do you have anything to report?
Not that this is not going to be repeated, but I want to say July 4th was amazing. And it doesn't run like that without our city staff. Just a great job to everyone involved with that. Grace Baptist Church, the auxiliary firefighters. It went off without a hitch. I got home within like 15 minutes, so the Volusia County Sheriff's Office did a great job directing traffic. I believe it was a safe event. I have not heard anybody lose their fingers or toes. So I just want to say my hat's off to the whole city staff at the City of DeBary for doing an amazing job. And that's all I got.
Okay, Councilmember Papalardo?
What an amazing Freedom Fest. Thank you, Vice Mayor and residents, for the serenade for my birthday there. It's always a little embarrassing, but thank you.
It's not, it's fun.
Councilmember Stevenson?
I also heard lots of good reviews on the Freedom Fest. I was out there for a little bit, and again, staff did a great job setting it up. Public safety, police officers were there, had a very nice presence, and I think everybody had a great time.
Vice Mayor Butland?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, July 4th. I'm looking forward to next year celebrating our 250th
Yeah, 250th.
country, whatever
Yeah.
you want to call it. So I'm looking forward to having that enhanced. I know Volusia
And-
County is getting involved in that.
And on the heels of opening Alexander Park, it'll just be a great
It'll be
month.
amazing. I can't wait till we do these off of the barges on the river. I also attended a Rotary installation dinner, which we didn't really stay for the installation,
Which went on for
which went on without us, which was great. I also witnessed Rex coming to the library to talk with some of the kids
Yes.
about DeBary and the stuff going on there. And also, I was at Team Volusia on Friday, and they have the British Embassy coming that they've invited us to at the end of the month, so I'll be attending that as well.
Okay.
And we have a League of Cities dinner coming up.
I have attended most of what the Vice Mayor reported, except for Team Volusia. I also was at the Volusia legislators' presentation at the Center for Deltona the other night as well, and heard reports from those about what they accomplished this legislative session. And some of it was enlightening and some of it wasn't. But they did report, and I thought there was good attendance, so I was pleased to see that kind of turnout. City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to reiterate a few things. As you know, Sherry Simmons was acknowledged in the Orlando Business Journal as the people to know. There was only 16 that were chosen, and she was one. And certainly accolades to our entire organization. So congratulations to her, and it's just again another benchmark for our community and our organization. Two, I gave a presentation. I went down to Haines City and working with FDOT. They're trying to extend the Sunrail station all the way down to Haines City. Gave a presentation of everything we accomplished here. I was the only presenter from government, and they wanted to use DeBary's example of how you implement a Sunrail station and how you build around it. And we have a whole slew of friends now that now see us as the benchmark. Haines City, Davenport, and a number of different cities there are going to create, and ultimately Lakeland is going to end up down in Lakeland. So it's a real tribute that they asked us to come along and really be the model for some of these other cities there. And I think we're going to get visited by a few of them to see what we've got going on. So again, it's a tribute to our city and our benchmark there. Also, Sherry Simmons gave a presentation to the Florida Greenways and Trails Committee the other day, and I'm sure, and the reaction from them, they're pretty fascinated how we integrated our trail system into our land development code, how we've also used a mobility plan to create those particular trails, and it's my understanding they were pretty fascinated there.
I was at that one with her, and the only thing they kept saying was, how did you do it? How did you get the developers to want to build a trail? And it was very exciting that they were intrigued by it, so
And
it was
I've been
good.
preaching the same stuff at TPO.
Well, just to be honest.
Mobility plans. Get
Yeah, just
yourself
to be
the
honest.
ability to do things.
Yeah, just to be honest, well, obviously, we're the only city in Volusia that has a mobility plan. There's not many in this state that have them, and, we did ours about 5 years ago. And it's just a tribute to you all that we have been able to lead the way, and certainly getting a lot of calls from a lot of people since House Bill 479 has passed. So, and then finally, we have selected an assistant manager, Jacob Smith. He will be starting at the end of the month, and and he'll be a great addition to our organization, so.
So at the meeting, the 1st of August, will you introduce us to him and provide his background?
Certainly. Do you want me to break them in fast?
sure.
Or
Well, I figure August 6th, way after the end of July.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much. City Attorney, anything to report?
Nothing to report.
Hearing no additional discussion, we stand adjourned.